Good morning, everybody. So there's an interesting development occurring in Europe and in the Middle East. Everybody's aware of it, right? The whole mess that happened between Palestine and Israel. We have the issues in Syria going now. Israel's trying to grab some of that land. And depending on what side of the political spectrum you're on, you're either justifying it or unjustifying it. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is there's an interesting little reaction that's happening in Europe that you wouldn't expect happening in European nations. European nations have been supporting Israel and the Jewish people now since World War II with just high intensity, meaning that it almost felt like the Jewish people could do no wrong. However, according to Poland, they stated that if Netanyahu shows up on January 27th to the 80th anniversary of the freeing of Auschwitz, he would be arrested because of warrants issued by the International Community Court, or ICC. Now, that's a really interesting development, right? Because this is the leader of essentially the Jewish people in the state of Israel, and he's having a warrant issued for his arrest for crimes justified or unjustified, or citations justified or unjustified. I'm not trying to get into the whole mess of what's going on because there's so many different paths you could go down discussing, was this right or was this wrong? That's not the point. The point is that there's an interesting change that's been happening, right? We noticed it here in America with everybody, or not everybody, but a large portion of the US population, which you wouldn't have expected voting for Trump and getting him elected. And it's almost like a contradiction to what the whole media and everybody was expecting to happen. And then we fast forward to right now, and we have international court in Europe, many different countries coming together saying they would arrest Netanyahu because of the ICC warrant and their involvement in the European Union. Now, what would that look like, right? I mean, imagine if they did arrest Netanyahu. That would be an insane thing, right? I mean, would Israel just sit there and nothing would happen? Would negotiations start? Would there be arms used? Because, I mean, there's a lot of anger and passion and issues going on in the Middle East, so you wouldn't expect anybody to react in a peaceful manner like in this current situation. Right now, you would expect there to be more dramatic actions. It really seems, and many people talk about it, right? It's nothing new that I'm saying, that there's an acceleration to something that's about to happen or accumulate within the world, possibly leading to World War III. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Nobody wants that to happen. But when you see what's been going on and how Israel has been criticized for what they're doing in the Middle East right now, especially Syria, and who knows what happens with Iran in the future, the fact that Europe, who has supported Israel and the Jewish people so intensely, is now kind of willing to criticize them by issuing a warrant, right? It's a complicated thing. It's not necessarily criticizing, but by issuing an arrest warrant for somebody like Netanyahu, you're essentially, there's a certain legal criticism, and that can build up and create pathways to what everybody's been afraid historically since World War II, and that is a lot of anti-Semitic behavior. It's going to be a really interesting way forward, right? I mean, I don't think Netanyahu would go there just to avoid any sort of international conflict. I hope so. And I hope if something did happen out of those warrants, it would be done in the most peaceful manner, like arresting Netanyahu, because you don't want to really create more issues that could really just throw gasoline on the fire and bring everybody into it. It's almost like it would be better to say, listen, Netanyahu's not even welcome to be in our airspace, just to avoid any sort of issue. Because if you keep pouring gasoline on this fire, it will create World War III. And that's what we're all trying to avoid. Anyways, I thought it was an interesting article. And again, it's the Jerusalem Post, and the article was posted on December 21st, if you want to look it up and read it for yourself. There's a lot of other interesting things, like Hungary. The leader of Hungary was saying that he would not, arrest Netanyahu if he showed up in their country. So therefore, he's not upholding the warrant that's been issued for Netanyahu. But like I said, those other countries like Poland, Spain, and Ireland said they would. There's a few other countries that already stated they would. But there's updates also happening to this article, so that could change, because I think everybody's aware of the issues that could come out of this.